It just got harder for a finance bro to buy an HVAC company. So the new rules make it harder for a new buyer to operate under the seller's license. And this can have a big impact in industries where licenses are required and they can be difficult to obtain. This can include things like HVAC, electrical, or plumbing. So the only way that you can operate under the seller's license is if the seller retains some amount of equity. So some ownerships, maybe they own 5 or 10% of the business after the sale, and then the business can run using their license. And under the most recent rules, even as recently as December, they had just made some rule clarifications that made those types of transactions much easier. But the new administrations come in and they don't want to see these types of transactions happen. So what they've done is they are now requiring in a partial business sale, so meaning that the previous owner is retaining some amount of equity, that anyone that owns any percentage of the business is going to be a guarantor on the loan, even if they only own 1%. If they own 1%, they're a guarantor for the whole loan, which just makes no sense, but those are the new rules that are in place. So what that means is that a seller is not going to stay on as a partial owner, guarantee the loan that's used to buy their business so that you can use their license. So basically it's gonna be nearly impossible to get a deal done where you use the seller's license. And in a full total change of control, the bank's not gonna allow you to use the seller's license. The best thing you can do is use an employee who can qualify for the license, give them a bonus, or give them some ownership in the business. That's one way to get around it. There are other ways. You could hire a third-party person, but that's gonna be really hard to hire a new employee that's gonna come in and serve as the qualifier. There are also kind of exchanges where you can kind of rent someone's license, but most banks aren't gonna go for that. So the new rule on partial changes honestly doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would someone who only owns 1% of a business give a guarantee that could potentially apply to all of the loan? I think the new administration just came in and they just undid everything that the prior administration did, even if the things they had put in place were a net positive for small business, a positive for the economy, a positive for America. If the prior administration did it, it's gone. So if you need help navigating the new SBA environment, check out the link in our bio. We can help you either obtain that SBA loan that you need to go and buy your own business, or we can buy a business together.